Hey everyone from YouTube, this is Sean Sosi. I am doing a spontaneous online Sean Testicle Talks. I wasn't planning on doing this kind of title, but since I'm gotta make sure everything's all like organized in different categories, I figured I'll do this. This special online Shantastical Talks as spontaneous. We are going to talk about Stranger Things season 5 finale, my thoughts, feelings, emotions, the works. As some of you guys know, I have been a fan since basically COVID. When had the COVID, believe the first time, I watched season 1 through 3 in like a week. It had to be what for you, a week. And then season 4, of course, I watched the whole thing, but I waited till all the episodes were out. And as for season 5, I waited till all the 7 episodes were out, and then watched the 8th episode with my friends. With my friends, we didn't have any subtitles considering the hosts don't believe in subtitles, and we missed some stuff. Missed some pop holes that we didn't see in the first time. Also, because of certain dialogues happening, certain things going on. So I am here to talk about that because I just rewatched it. I believe the 2 days after, so it was like last week Saturday, I believe, because I had time and I can actually look at it and actually evaluate it. And I took some notes. Of course, I took some notes because as a writer, I am also trying to figure out stuff that will actually help certain things, including my own writing and other people's writing too. Um, and I am one of the people who actually thought that there was going to be a secret ninth episode called the Conformity Gate. Yeah, we don't know if it's going to happen at all. It is always, the next day. It may not happen, or we might have an entire new season. We don't know. There was obviously spin-offs coming very soon, especially the Tales of Stranger Things, Tales of from I believe 1985, yeah, and yeah, we will review that too, as well as other stuff, but usually I like to just written down stuff if it's very short, but when it's long and extended, I need to actually talk about it. So this is why we're doing online talks. I'm not doing my karaoke today. I am doing just the talk right now. So Stranger Things. I have loved it dearly. I have loved the characters. I've loved every story, every plot point. Each season got better. I felt the first one was a good, solid points. It wasn't the best, but it was surely the worst. But season 2 got better. Season 3 even better. Season 4, I personally love season 4. Season 5 is up there until we get to the finale. Now, there has been so many incoincidences of the finale, especially in the epilogue. Like I do like the epilogue. Let's just get out of the way. I like the epilogue, but however, there is some stuff that needs to be pointed out. Like we got people that are standing like Henry. We got people that are having the same hairstyle as Henry. Mike and Nancy vowed not to be their parents and then become their parents and down the line. There was a no written sign with the yellow sign. I don't know if anyone knows that in the back. Um, also, what's her face? Karen. She had scars at the graduation, but then whoop, in the last scene, she didn't have any scars. And then you have the tournament show Fairy 2 where Mike left the stairs and he went through that door, like acting as this is fake. So a lot of me and fans thought that this was all fake and that this ninth episode is the case, but we are going to bypass that right now and just say that that was some of the stuff that was bothering me. There's other stuff bothering me too, but we're going to lead from the end to get into that. Because I did like the episode, but I felt like there was a lot of pot points and pot holes and things that characters usually don't do. This did something weird. I do agree that this is much better than Game of Thrones finale because, my God, season 8, the first half was actually pretty good, but then the second half, after the fall of Winterfell, it was bad. It was that bad. Um, but here we are. We're going to talk about this bit by bit. So the first question is, um, why did 8 and 11 have to act so weird with Max when she first got in? That was my first concern. I'm like, at first when I saw that, I thought, oh, this does not look like them. Oh, this is them, but it's 8, because 8, we thought that 8 was a traitor, but she turns out she was not. Um, and the way that even 11 was acting, she's like, hey, like acting all weird on how she does it, because she's usually so smiley and stuff with Max, and she just, I get she was in the serious mode at the time, but that was just weird. I thought that was the first thing that I was like, yeah, that's weird. Exactly where we need one episode 02 is where I'm going to talk about next in my theory is the high school of 59. We have glimpses and snippets of it throughout the show. However, we don't have much to give off. Unless you, well, the fortunate ones that actually got to see the Broadway, which is called the First Shadow, but some of us can't have access to that. Netflix has not released. Netflix, if you're watching this, please release that so that way we can watch it as consumers. Otherwise, this should have been part of this season, and then they have season 6 where they're trying to save the kids and all that, and make it a whole movie if they want to. But yeah, they should have had at least an episode or two regarding what's going on behind the scenes with Henry's memory at high school, because obviously that was a important point, but we never got to see that. It's like from Marvel's What If. You had Gamora if she actually defeated Thanos, but then we didn't see her origin story until the next season. That's kind of redundant because you had the character already in there, but then you decided to use her later on. It just makes no sense. More interface on the prey. Like, what is this about? Go back to my last comment. You guys are saying, oh, this is how he came up to be throughout high school and stuff. Well, we only know a little bit of Henry. We don't know everything about Henry. We know just that he is the way he is because I'm trying to remember his origin story because it's been so long ago. When I first watched the fourth season, that was like 3 years ago. So I'm kind of like rusty on some of it. But we know that he became so obsessed with spiders, like grandfather clocks and all that. So, and he, just like, it's just obsessed. And we know later down the line, he is affected by the mind flare, but which he is okay with because he saw it actually open his eyes to see that humanity is not worth saving. And that gets me to my point when we get down there. Where are all the monsters? A lot of people online has been saying that about where are all the monsters. I agree. Where are all the freaking monsters? We had the Demogorgons, we had the Demobats, there was something else, but we could have had new different creatures and then all attacking the main characters. However, that is not going to be a fair fight because if the older monsters were attacking them, they would not win because they would have like two main powerful, which is Will and 11. They cannot do all that alone. So yeah, I guess the ramification is a lot of people saying, or they were just multiply it as a big, kaiju, like it was seen at the end. I do love that Steve and Jonathan moment, especially when Jonathan saved Steve. I thought that was very sweet. I thought that was very nice, and I thought that it was a neat bow to their broship, or love-hate relationship as bros, because they're still brothers, but they don't want to admit it because they have the same person that they dated and effed with. So about those bullets that did, actually, we thought that shot 11, they could have actually penetrated. I'm thinking about it. It could have penetrated to the liking, especially since Hopper shot it right at that. So, unless they just deflected, that they didn't puncture anything, but he was able to slam that thing by his own. So, obviously, with, grass, you have to, took some bullets and then punch and then be more or less stable and everything. So I do think that that was kind of a lost opportunity. Like I think what should have happened is either Hopper died or 11 could have possibly died, but then somehow someone saved her or something. I think she should die, but I don't think in a way like that because that was way too soon and we need her. But yeah, I just thought of like, okay, well those bullets could have actually penetrated. Considering he shot 3 bullets right there in glass, like could have done that. Yeah, Monsters should have arrived at the same time as the army. I think that would have been a better time, and that way the army can kind of be like backing off, be like, okay, we can't do anything about this, guys. They are literally attacking our men. We cannot get those kids. We might have to wait. Which I was, I would have been fine with how the execution started. But no, the military has to be there, and I think it would have been better if the monsters was actually taking care of trying to get through to Max because she's a link to these girls that actually can do stuff the same way that Will does. So yeah, Will could have done something instead of just observing most of it. I mean, he did do some kick-ass moments, but he could have done a little bit more. I know he's part of the Mind Hive, and they don't really explain the Mind Hive as best they can. It's just, again, plot holes. It's like, why? And then when you talk to the Alpha Bubbles, it's like, oh, it's all for interpretation. Guys, it is your writing. You have to know your characters. You have to know the plots. You have to know behind the scenes to naturally get the people the right answer. So, as a writer, I will know because I have to make sure I give the right answer, or I just say, well, who's to say? I know, but you know, or maybe I never thought of that. Maybe I never thought of so and so was going on a merry adventure in between the chapters or something. I had to come up with something. How Murray did it, he was the MVP of that show, especially at the end. I always said that Will, in the past, was an MVP in episode 4. He is definitely MVP. Mary is the MVP of last episode. How does Derek fit in that small hall? A lot of people, including me, have been like, okay, how is a big chunky child, going to be able to fit in that small ass hall? That makes no sense. I mean, even Max was having a hard time. I saw that from another YouTuber. I'm like, yeah, that is true. That Max was having a hard time. She's tall. She's big. She's full grown. How is that? Makes no sense. There was absolutely no way that 8 survived any of that after a gunshot. Okay, there is this theory that Mike talks to his friends about that maybe 11 may be alive. A lot of them say, I believe, and I've seen people, they say the same thing, but it's like in retrospect, if someone is like gunshotted, especially in the the stomach area, the intestines, they're gonna breathe out much more faster. It's an instant death. It is not going to be where all that between that gunshot and all the time that where 11 is going to make that ultimate sacrifice that she was able to pull it off. There is absolutely no way she survived that. I do not believe that theory. However, as we discussed, I believe in the theory of the conformant gate. If it does exist, I still believe it. However, I am content to let this story go. But I'm just explaining my problems, thoughts, and feelings, all that, because that needs to get out there because there is some stuff. We're already in the second page of my notes here. And I think I got like 5 or 6 pages total. Glad they didn't make Henry a small, sympathetic villain, as if every other media has, like with Disney and all that. Like, okay, we can sympathize about how they come to be, but we can't sympathize of what they chose to be. If they chose to be this way, that's on them. We can try to change their ways. We can try to convince them, but there's no absolute guarantee that they are going to turn to the right side of things. Especially since Henry killed a lot of children. He manipulated the whole town of Hawkins and did all that kind of bad stuff you can name. I mean, he's basically going to jail for life at this point. Um, but yeah, there was. I'm just glad they didn't do it because let me make sure. Because the mind fairies affected him. He could have turned, but he said, he it opened my eyes. This is not worth it. I mean, well, this is not worth saving anyone or anything. But we could have had more explanation on that stone. I know they are planning on doing something with the stone in future installments, but another episode would have been nice. Like, Keen, what is that stone? What is specifically about that stone that is very important? Obviously, it's a mind flare, but how did it came to be? Apparently, it's from outer space. Okay, elaborate. Elaborate on that. Don't just say it's from outer space and don't give your audience the stuff that they need to eat up with. You know, how could 11 really jump up those borders? I thought about that because I saw that. I'm like, there's no way she's gonna come up there. And of course, they did it off screen, so we don't know if she did or she had assistance or something. We don't know, because it compared to her training, it did not seem like the same length. It's like, no, there's no way. I mean, unless you were really actually, doing it and showing it, then that's different. But I was kind of like that. There's no way. Even I'm like with Hopper. Yeah, there's no way you can. Where you gonna jump that? Apparently you did. Um, Touching moments between Hops and 11. I did love that. That made me emotional. It keeps giving me emotion. Anytime there is between a father and daughter kind of aspect, I just feel it. I mean, I want to be a father myself, and I'm okay with my child being boy or girl. I'm going to love them for the way they are. So, and of course, I have a great relationship between my father and stuff, so I can feel this stuff. Parent is overprotective of the little one, but they still believe in their kid no matter how hardships they go through and stuff. So yeah, I totally am with that. Okay. What's the real end game for Henry and the Mind Flayer? I was thinking that as Henry was discussing to Will that no, I'm not turning. It's like, but what is your end game, dude? You guys never explain your end game. I mean, we know that you wanted to take kids and make a big freaking kaiju and have the business crash into the earth. What was the end game? Was it just to reset everything to make sure that no humans survive, or just make humans more slaves and obedient to your will? We don't know, and that's the reason. Another reason why we should have got another episode, along with that stone and along with that high school, because we want to have more emphasis about why is this going on, like why are we here? Why is the villain so intended to do this? No way anyone could have taken down that kaiju. I mean, if there was an army, yeah, but we have a small army of, I think it was like at least dozen. I mean, it is affected with the mind flare, and with pinpointing how they were attacking it, that was actually pretty smart. But at the same time, it's like seeing that character and seeing how it actually was coming to them, yeah, there's no way anyone can outrun that. I think at least someone could have died. I don't know who, because I love each and every one of them, but something impactful for the story to actually move forward. Because sometimes death actually helps the plot forward into, making emotionally impact as the scenes go on. Jump 11 was pretty epic though. I did like how she went, before she came, she had that nice shot. But I do think that the kaiju should have been a three-headed hydra. That would be better, or just a hydra itself. Now it's a big spider. I mean, I know we were seeing that, but that is not what exactly Will was seeing in his dreams at all. So someone probably should have died, like I said, at least one more just to higher the stake a little bit. I mean, again, I don't know. We need to rewrite that, or they need to rewrite it, because I mean, it's always sad enough that we have 11 gone, but I think there should have been another one. Kelly, I thought it was very sad, but I think there should have been another impactful one to just die. Not Steve. I was happy that Steve did not die. I was going to be pissed if he died. Because there's already been 2 instances, now 3, that he almost died. And we don't have to worry about that. Mind Flayer could have done something after Henry's demise. All seems way too easy. I mean, yeah, I mean the Mind Flayer and Henry are trying to pinpoint everything as they get attacked everywhere, but it's like the Mind Flayer could have been like, fuck this, I am going to go to Will, or going to go to Levin, or going to go to someone else as a vessel, and then try to do shit, like I am the real villain, and then have another episode about how to take it, or just have a whole showdown. Yeah, the Mind Flayer should have just been the main villain. I mean, you have this Henry kid who is the vessel of this main villain. He's dead. Have him be the one to actually try to stop the main characters. But, this is where I get the problems with these streaming sites. They always want to do the 8-episode limit. Just make it 9 or 10, maybe even 11, because we have 11. We might as well. But Netflix and them are corporate, so we gotta listen to Netflix. This is why, as an indie person, I don't have those people telling me how to do it and when to do it. The only time I listen to certain things is at work, and because I have more value and more appreciation and respect from that, I'm going to do it. But when it comes to my own work and my own vision, I'm going to do how I see fit. If I say I want 10 episodes, not 8, they need to listen. Because obviously 10 episodes is much better because you have fresh out a lot of stuff and fresh out the points and the characters and the motives and everything else in between. Will finally did something. And when he actually finally did this, I was on my feet. I was like, yes, let's go. He's back. However, that was the only time he did. I'm like, bro, he could have done a little bit more than that. I mean, come on. You are as powerful as 11 now. You have the powers. You just found out these powers. I know I get it hurts because he's part of the Mind Flayer, but again, he didn't really establish the Mind of the Mind Hive. So yeah, I would see. What did I say about this? Good. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out what I said. Man, I cannot read this next. I can't read this next one. It's something about the weavers it brings. Oh, touching moments between the when Nancy, Will, and Holly got back together as a family. But those kids, though, they're hanging there. They were like, "Get me out!" because no one wants to be up there. All right, so Joyce with the final blows was really effective. Yeah, I know a lot of people was like, man, Joyce didn't do anything this season. I mean, I guess they made her just do a couple of axe moves, but it's like, if you think about it, kind of is symbolic because she's the mother who was really affected about Will's disappearance, and this is how it all started. So it kind of makes sense that she would do the final blow to just certify that she has value in this group, and that we can take down Henry, not the Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer should have just at least been like, I'm getting out of here, and I'm going to go to one of you guys. And then season 6 or the 9th episode, it's like, yeah, I was there, and I went to you. You're next. You're part of this. That's why I would have liked. Like, okay, they defeated Henry. Easy. Where's the Mind Flayer? The Mind Flayer should not be that, easy to take down. What? That makes. I mean, come on. Think about it. He should have been the one to just be like, okay, one vessel down, now we'll do the next vessel. As a entity of whatever kind of matter he's from, he's able to do that. He should be able to do that. Love hearing two song Princes, and thanks to this series and this finale, in fact, I have listened to Prince a lot lately. This is like the 8th day I've been listening to Purple Rain and When the Doves Cry and other Prince singles and all that. Both scenes were so emotional, impacted, especially when 11 had to say goodbye. But still too easy. What did I say? Um, However, as one YouTuber said, Braid Caliper had made a good video saying why he was defeated. But it's like that was Henry. What about the Mind Fair? The Mind Fair should have been not easily defeated. How did 11 really escape though? She was last seen in the truck. I was checking that out. I was looking at the truck. I'm like, yeah, I see 11. How did she escape? Did she just run back to the gate? I'm thinking she just run back to the gate without anyone noticing, because there's no way she bypassed sneakily out of that when her sister is presumably dead and is dead for sure, because there's no way a gunshot wound in the digestive system is actually going to recuperate from that. So yeah, I believe she's dead. I don't believe she's alive, unfortunately. The mage and Will's, not Will's, Mike's fantasy, sure, but not 11 herself. And just like that, they get scot free. Like they killed a bunch of people. They took a lot of drugs, sold a lot of stuff, a lot of property damage. These military bastards are assholes, though, and they get scot free as well because they have pregnant women, forcing to make kids as strong as 11. Like, question mark? Okay, why was with that plot hole? If we're not going to experience, like, go through that and actually talk about that, we might as well not have that scene at all. Especially when 11 go through the numerous of beds of pregnant women that looked like they were on the verge of dying before they even have birth. It's like, why even bother? And then you guys don't really explain it. Like, you know, I don't think the Denver Brothers had enough time to repolish stuff, even though they had like 3 years, give or take. But they sure have just been like, we're not gonna explain it later. We're not gonna explain it at all. That's the thing about writing. You gotta have to learn to compromise, because if you're not gonna explain something that is maybe foreshadowing something else later down the line and it's not successful, just don't do it at all. So wait, I know that. I mean, I know I am an amateur of 5 books, but I'm making my 6th and 7th one simultaneously, even though the 6th one is more of a short story collection and the other one's actually a novel. I know that sometimes you have to compromise a lot of plot threads to make the match make sense later down the line. Because if you just leave it without saying an explanation, and then you go around saying, "Oh, this is up for everyone's interpretation," do you guys know how to write? I mean, it is 2 people. It's not just one person like me. It's actually 2 brothers. They know each other like more than we do. They should know. Okay. And okay, I always said that. Emblem was good, but of course, the problems, the 7 problems we've discussed earlier, but now we're going to talk a little bit more about them. Miss Vicky and Susan, where the fuck were they? I really miss them, especially since both of them were actually really essential to the plots. We didn't know what happened to Murray or Mr. Clark. I'm assuming those 2 are just hanging out somewhere, just having a good time, having their own adventure or something. But and then the fact that it's like you give us these characters that we actually care about, Vicky and Susan, and then you don't bother telling them, oh, they're doing this. It's up for interpretation, as they would say, but it's like, I need more. I actually need to know. I know Robin says overbearing spouse, loved ones or whatnot, but it's like that doesn't really say much of anything, and that didn't strike me as Vicky, unless she changed and flipped after that whole experience. She did not look pleased when I first saw her. She looked like I'm about to get done here. I don't want to be here. I shouldn't be here. Like, she didn't look scared or worried about what happened to 11, what's going to happen to 11. She was just like, I was like, Vicky, I know you don't know this girl much, but she is, each of them like, oh no. That's what I would have been like if I was the director and co-writer or something. Like, Vicky, kind of look like you are actually worried about this girl, even though you just met her like a day or two ago. You still care about her because that's one of your girlfriend's friends that is going to presumably die when she said, I'm going to probably sacrifice myself because, they're never going to stop. Love the graduation scene. However, those orange grounds make no sense. I mean, they do look like a prison in Henry's mind. So, and even the pamphlet, when you saw Ted like cramping, he had a pamphlet right there, and it's supposed to be green. Green's more better of a color to give to kids instead of looking orange, because orange looks like a prison, thing. Also love that everyone got their own happiness endings, even though some of them are very more, sad endings than others. But where is Murray and where is Mr. Clark? Where is these people that you made us love? Also, where is what's his face from the fourth season? Oliver, our Acon or Agok or something? I forgot his name. The guy with the long hair. What happened to him? Like, what happened to these characters that we grew up to love for the past 10 years, only for them to just be, whoosh, did they just somehow get like Phantom Snap or something that we don't know that's behind the scenes? This is where the conformity gate comes in, because a lot of people, including myself, thought that, well, Vecna or Henry did not know these people, so of course he's not going to remember them, and so he just remembers the people that were there and the people he manipulate under his finger strings. But it's like Vicky was there though. Unless Vicky really did not want to deal with Robin's, whole, freaking whatchamacallit. I don't know how you would call that relationship, because Robin, I mean, she was still faithful. She just couldn't just been honest with her and said, hey, this may sound crazy, but I am with high schoolers trying to take down a bunch of these monsters you may or may not see, because it's sometimes an illusion. Yeah, someone would actually say, well, that's fucking crazy. But yeah, the Mike and Hopper scene was perfect. I did like that. However, just having Hopper look directly in the camera for that one first option, then go to the next one, it's like, okay, come on. This is where it's this the more the reason of the secret knife episode is it possibly true, but who knows? Dunstan's speech, yes. I love that. I didn't actually hear him much at the first one because everyone was talking and there was no subtitles, as I mentioned. But after rewatching it, I thought it was perfection. I thought it was nice. I thought it was a great tribute to Eddie. By the way, Eddie, we miss you. We miss you so much, man. Stoic. I like the Dustin reject. I like that. Well, Dustin kind of rejected Stacy, but not really. I kind of wish he would be like, yeah, no, I'm cool. I have a girlfriend anyway. Her name's, Susie. That would have been perfect. That's what he should have said. Because yeah, Stacy was the one that he originally liked before meeting Susie, and so when Stacy, I still love this scene. When Stacy rejected him, Nancy took it up to her to take this opportunity to dance with him and give him the confidence he needed for season 3. I thought that was very sweet and nice, especially since Steve was the one to give more of his confidence up with his, his hairstyle. Nancy helped him with his confidence of talking to women and actually connecting people. So I just love that. That scene's still one of my favorite scenes, and including, the whole dance. It's just one of my favorite scenes of Stranger Things in history. Let's see. Like that. I like the older kids scene where they're on top of the squawk. I thought that was very sweet. I kind of wanted a little bit more, but not too more. But kind of, it's like a give or take 6, 7, kind of deal. But yeah, I actually did like that. It's just more emphasis. Like you guys are telling me, show me some stuff, show me what behind the scenes what you guys are doing while doing that. That proposal scene, oh, that proposal scene was so sweet and so perfect from Hopper and Joyce. Now, I should mention that that is one of the scenes that has the exit sign in the background. Now, I forgot to know about this. As a filmmaker, you are not supposed to show any like sign, like exit signs like that, because that creates an illusion for that, and so that comes back to the confirmatory gate, theory about why this is probably all illusion. So I wanted to mention that because I just thought about it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's another that's another thing that could have been like, oh yeah, we need to fix that. Let's fix that real quick. But I am excited for the spinoff called Montauk because that's originally what the Different Brothers wanted to do, but they decided to do things differently in Hawkins, Indiana. And so I'm excited to see the next chapter, if there is a next chapter for Hopper and Joyce and that kind of thing. And then we could probably see cameos of certain characters, which I'll be all down for. Absolutely love the last scene as the next generation prays. Perfect ending for a D&D kind of thing. Um, However, I'm still thinking about, okay, this theory makes no sense. Not the theory that I'm talking about, the theory that Mike has presented for his group. It makes no sense because Carrie would have been dead right there if she got shot right there. Because there's no way anyone's going to survive that for I don't know how long it will be. Probably for a whole hour or two at least, give or take 6, 7. But I just don't think that she will make it, and so 11's dead. And then here's the last page. I love Mike's tie-in between the D&D and the real world. Like he actually showed that. Oh, wait, here's the here's a Bod. He's doing this. Here's I forgot the name of the classes that each character had. Bear with me, but each one had their own ending that you kind of had glimpse of what they're going for. Even if L could be alive, but that ain't a possibility. It ain't no way. Like I've been waiting for at least, let's see, I started in 2018, so that's what 7 years. But I've been a self-published author myself for like almost 5 years. I know that certain things, like when we say these things, it sounds like, oh, that sounds right. But then when it comes to that kind of scene, it's like, there's no way she actually survived that. As I say, I don't know how many times I've said that. There's no way she survived that. There's no way that Elle is alive. Prove me wrong, though, but make an explanation if you can. Derek, you mean Thomas? Oh, that's because of Steve. That was another thing. Steve was like, let's go with Thomas. I'm like, that's not Thomas. That's Derek. Again, this is is this Henry's doing? This is Vecna's doing? Too many coincidences, especially in the epilogue, is the last note I put. And we already discussed all of those inconsistencies because, god dang, there was this a lot to talk about. It's almost 40 minutes. I was not expecting that. I was expecting to just do a quick, little thing, but it's like there is a lot to talk about when it comes to Stranger Things. This is Stranger Things 5, and especially this one, Stranger Things finale of all things. But yeah, this is a spontaneous, shantastical talks. I know this was upbringing, but I wanted to do something different. I guess usually I just do these blog events like, every Wednesday, but I'm like, I'm going to do a little bit of a little nice, treat here. But yeah, next week, I will be on, well, actually, here I'm going to give you the whole shabam of my schedule. tomorrow I will be doing Marvel Rivals for season 6. Saturday I will finish Dispatch for the last 3 episodes, and then Sunday I don't know if I'm going to do anything, but if I do something, it'll probably be Marvel Rivals, so I'll go back to back. And then I'm going to do Dispatch for the third time, so I can do the passive aggressive. If I can't get to the villain, I'll do the I'll do the villain as the third one if I can. But next week, Wednesday, for sure, is another online Fantastical Talks, and I'll be doing another short story reading randomizer. I can't even speak. Short story reading randomizer, as I've done at Facebook, because I thought this is that's important, especially since this is my short stories. These are my random stuff that I have done, and I want to do it all the hat. I still want to do it. I still like talking about my stuff and how I come up with this stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to everything this coming year as I'm building out my content and stuff. I hope you guys are enjoying these so far. I know I'm a little, amateur as most people, but I will get better. But yeah, this was a spontaneous talks about season 5 finale of Stranger Things, and I hope you guys enjoy this. Have a phenomenal Thursday, and see you guys all next time. Peace out, y'all.